If you're watching this video, you must be reaching the final stages of your final project for this class, which is to narrate your PowerPoint, to bridge sort of the work and the investigation that you began at the very beginning of this class, research of the self, and to bridge that all the way over into some of the primary resources, the secondary resources, and then the writing and image combination that you're going to use to translate that idea for a wider audience to understand and learn. So basically, it's really helpful to be able to take a piece of work, whether it's writing or music, and to be able to transfer it. The skill right now that you're working on this week is your ability to move fluidly between different kinds of modes and media of expression. So moving from a text-based essay to a multimodal PowerPoint presentation where you're narrating using image and a balance of text and image is really complicated. And so what I'd like you to do for this week, you all have some really great PowerPoints that you're working from, and if you haven't received my feedback yet, hold tight. I'm working very quickly to get you initial feedback on those drafts. One of the things I did notice, and which is completely fine, is that a lot of the slides are very text heavy at this point, and what I'd like you to work on this week is to really balance text with image so that your PowerPoint is visually appealing, and you also might consider deciding what text do you need us to see and what can you actually rehearse or speak to us through the narration. To narrate your slide, what I'd like you to do is go to Screencast-O-Matic. You're going to use this free screen recording capture software. When you get to this website, hopefully you land on this page where it says Launch Recorder. If you don't, just click on Screencast-O-Matic up here and you'll be able to find the sort of Launch Free Recorder option. Please do not log in. Please do not sign up unless you want to. But you do not need to do those things because you can simply click here and get the option to record your screen. Once you click Launch Free Recorder, what you should see is a sort of candy cane colored square around your screen, white and red dots. White and red sort of spaces around a rectangular square. And so that with anything within that particular candy cane section is going to be captured, is going to be cast on a screen, including your voice. So right now I have screen recorder all framed around. You can see kind of my tabs up here. If I need to resize my screen before I record, you can kind of adjust it as you need to, but if you are already in the midst of recording, you can always click pause to resize what you want us to see and then click record once more. So I'm going to continue. I'm going to show you what to do with your PowerPoint. So after you get your PowerPoint where you want it to be, I'd like you to, you don't even have to click present, but I'd like you to focus your screen in on just the slide that we're going to be looking at as if we were going through your PowerPoint presentation. So I'm going to pause the recording right now and resize the Screencast-O-Matic screen so that you just see this particular slide. Now you should be able to see just the slide that says Tighten Wordy Sentences. So I've reduced the notes. I can actually still see the notes on my screen, but you can't. And I can also still see the slide summary in the left, slides 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So feel free to have your notes at the ready. Please feel free to read from your notes or your explanations, but do make sure that you try as best as you can to pronounce words correctly, names correctly, and have a sort of clear sense of beginning and end for each slide, a sort of purpose for each slide. Please do make use of this pause button so that in between each slide you can recollect your thoughts, figure out exactly what you want to say for each slide, so that there's sort of a clean transition between the slide and what you're saying about that slide. I'm going to pause the presentation right here and move to my next slide. I do caution you not to hit the space bar and rather just to click from one slide to the next. I think the space bar can inhibit something in Screencast-O-Matic. So after you've addressed all of the questions in the prompt, again, I'll kind of show you what the prompt looks like. I'm going to pause the Screencast-O-Matic once again and resize it to fit the prompt that you can all view under our advocacy project folder. All right, great. So here is our final advocacy presentation slide assignment. This has been under our advocacy proposal assignment folder for a while, but this is to review some of the sort of slides, what to include in each one. Make sure that you double check that you've included all of these in your final PowerPoint. And it looks like in your drafts you're doing a great job of that, but remember that you do have these prompts to think about and follow. I've also included the advocacy presentation rubric that I'm going to be using just to give you feedback on your final presentations. Just notice that I have it split up into content, the actual writing, what you're talking about on each slide, to the design of the slide, the presentation that's actually narrated, and the mechanics. So make sure that the presentation addresses all the prompts that I just showed you on the prompt page thoroughly, and the information on the slides reflects an understanding and effective summarization. Information has not been simply summarized, copied, and pasted, but actually analyzed as well. So you might explain why you understand certain things the way you do. Make sure also that the slides display elements of effective design so that fonts and colors and backgrounds are effective. They don't clash, or one's not hard to read, or too small or too large. The text is clear and easy for the audience to see. Just make sure it's legible. Also make sure that the presenter speaks clearly and slowly. It's evident that the presentation was prepared and is within the 5 to 10 minute range. So please try your best to articulate. I'm not always the best on Screencast-O-Matic either. It makes me kind of nervous talking at a screen. But do make use of that pause button to slow yourself down, to give yourself a break, and to pick up, when you are ready to pick up. Please also make sure that your page is free of spelling and grammatical errors. Remember that you do have access to free appointments at the Writing and WRSA, Writing, Reading, and Speech Assistance through COD, and that you can walk through your presentation with someone, or they can just sort of read through your presentation, just to give you a sense of if there are sort of any spelling or questions that are raised by the slides that you didn't think to address. So know that you also have another sounding board in addition to the feedback I'm going to be sending you on your drafts. So when you're done with your Screencast-O-Matic presentation, what you're going to do with this recording is you're going to click pause, and then you're going to get this option to save it. And what you're going to do is click on the Save and Upload button. You're going to save and upload it to YouTube. And you all have a YouTube account because it's connected through your Google credential. So you'll save it. You're going to click on Upload to YouTube, and then you're going to click Publish. So I just finished a recording that I'll show you what's going to happen to it next. I just finished a recording for my short fiction class, but I want you to know that it does take a little while for the short fiction presentation to actually show up in my YouTube. So by the time I click publish, it'll take a little while for that published material to actually load into my YouTube account. So I'm going to go into my videos, your videos right here. And again, give it some time to load because sometimes it doesn't always appear just the second that it's published. So give it about 10 to 15 minutes. Then you should see your recording. So here's my recording for my short fiction class. What you're going to do is click on that recording, and you'll see that it starts playing right away. I don't want it to play right away for you, but what I do want to show you is some ways that you can share this video with me. So you can go to edit video if you'd like to change some of the settings first before you share it. You'll notice that I have the ability to change the title. This is going to be Unit 4 Setting is the name of this particular video for me. For you, what you could do is Final Advocacy Presentation. You can name it, title it whatever you think will best sort of suit the material that's therein. You can also upload a thumbnail of an image that's sort of representative of the video that we're going to see. It can be a picture that's related to your work, and I actually encourage you to upload that thumbnail. Some other settings that you might change are, no, it's not really made for kids. Do you want this visible to the public? I always click on listed, so that will allow for no one who doesn't have the link can sort of see your video. And then what you can do is click save. And now all you have to do is share your video. What I'd like you to do is click back on your video. You can click share right here. You can embed it. You can do all of these things, but all I want you to do is just copy the link. Okay, so you're going to click copy. And then you're going to go back into our folder. Go under your units. I could have just left it on that one. We're going to click on the advocacy presentation. To submit it, you're going to simply click on advocacy presentation. And you can click on write submission, copy and paste your YouTube link. Click submit. And my submission is not saved. Why didn't it save? If it doesn't save there, just add it to the comments box. I think that should work too. It could be because I'm not a student that it's not saving. So hopefully you can just write in your submission there. And I think it might have been also because I didn't click certain settings. Let me make sure. Write submission. Click submit. I think because I'm the instructor for this course, I'm not able to submit things, but that's the sort of easy way that you guys will be both recording and sharing the information with us that you've learned so far this semester. So again, this is our culminating activity. I'm really excited about seeing what you do with these narrated PowerPoints, and I hope you have fun sort of working within Screencast-O-Matic and YouTube. Please reach out if you have any questions. Remember to do that earlier in the week so that it's not Friday at sort of crunch time and you're trying to figure some of these things out. So do test it out early on. Let me know if you have questions, and I hope that this video helps sort of guide you through, maneuver through some of this technology. Thank you so much, and I'm looking forward to seeing your projects.